Well, good afternoon and welcome to Mulaney Gym here inside Alumni Hall in Providence, home of the Providence College Friars as they get set to take on the Villanova Wildcats in Big East women's college basketball action. I'm Mike Mancuso, joined today by Pam Roker. And Pam, the end of the regular season is finally upon us, and every single game matters today.
Let the March Madness begin, Mike. How exciting is it to come down to the last weekend, the last day of competition, to have so many seeding implications on the line. This is a pivotal game for both teams as they fight for that final seeding for the postseason tournament next week.
Absolutely, and one of the players to showcase today has to be the outstanding freshman setting all kinds of new marks in the Big East, Maddie Siegrist.
Maddie Siegrist is having an amazing year. She's one of the top scorers in the country, number 2 of all freshmen. She's leading Villanova in scoring and rebounding. She is rewriting the record books, and it's her consistency, Mike, that I'm most impressed with. She's on the floor 35 minutes a game, and she's really doing it all for the Wildcats.
Absolutely. And on the other side, the reigning Big East Freshman of the Year, a big part of the Providence offense, Mary Baskerville.
She's the focal point of the offense, and she's a presence at both ends. She's 6'3". She's the leading shot blocker in Big East competition. She really needs to play well for the Friars to have a shot today, and she's really going to be a presence at both ends.
So it should be a great one here in Friartown. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineups and the opening tip right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
And welcome back once again to Mulaney Gym here inside Alumni Hall in Providence. Mike Mancuso alongside Pam Roker, and again, the importance of this game for both teams. Seeding still today. Ashley Lyotis.
Hey guys, thank you. Yeah, what a matchup here today, and a very important one for Villanova head coach Harry Perretta. His final regular season game of his coaching career. Of course, he is retiring after this season, after their postseason, of course, and they were able to honor him here. Now get this series between Providence and Villanova dates back to 1981, 76 games. And how about this? Coach Perretta has been on the sidelines for every single one of those games. I asked Providence coach Jim Crowley what he thinks about Perretta and just his tenure there. He said, well, honestly, what he admires most is his relationship he's able to have with the players. Now, as for Coach Perretta, I said, all right, what are you going to do after this, after you retire? He said he'll be helping out the athletic director there at Villanova for one more year. And then after that, he said, I don't know, I'm going to have to find something, maybe volunteer at my parish. And he also said, maybe I'll take up golfing. I was a golfer in high school, but he said he's going to find something to do, guys.
And thank you, Ashley, as we go back to the live action here in Friartown. Friars come up empty on their first possession. Now we get the first look at the Villanova offense as they get the ball over to Bridget Hurley. Gadeka now, turnaround jumper, and cans it.
Well, she's having an amazing senior year. Mary Gadeka, part of that dynamic duo with Siegrist, off to a good start.
Kayla Webb, a little pull-up there, won't go. Baskerville for the rebound. Turnaround off the glass, no good, and the rebound to Siegrist.
You know, as Ashley said, Harry Perretta, what a storied career. He's been on the farewell tour. Certainly would still love to get this basketball game today. He's going to be with Villanova next year, Mike. And we know one thing, he'll definitely stay involved with women's basketball.
Absolutely, as Siegrist can't connect from the outside. Quick look at the Providence starters for you. Kayla Webb, Erlette Scott, Kira Spiewak, Mary Baskerville, and there's Kayla Webb hitting from the outside. And the last member of the starting five for the Friars today, Nyasia Franklin, the lone senior on this Providence team. And Coach Crowley very proud of her and what she's been able to accomplish as a student athlete, a mom, and a key member of this team over her time at Providence.
Yeah, senior day is always very emotional. Coach Crowley referred to him as being a little bit bittersweet. It's the end of one era and start of a new career and life for these senior athletes. And great job by Coach Crowley. He said he always gives the seniors the start on this celebratory day.
Yeah, I love that. And even when the stakes are high, he always goes that route. So here's Villanova now trying to retake the lead. Segrist, though, leaving it a little bit short. And, oh, there's the foul out of frustration as well for Maddie Segrist.
That was good movement without the ball. Raven James, good recognition. Segrist shoots the ball really well from the floor. Certainly a high percentage look. We don't see her miss that very often.
Yeah, came into the game shooting 46% on the season. Again, the team leader in points, 19.3 per contest. We're swinging on over for Erlette Scott. Pull up from the elbow and gets it to go. And the Friars shooting the ball well early on.
It's a good start. Good balance. Poor communication that time. Scott just came off a screen.
We were wondering how Villanova would come into this game fresh off a 20-point loss on the road at Creighton. Had to make that big trip from Omaha out here. Doesn't seem to be phasing Mary Gadeka at all as she connects from downtown.
This is the Iron Woman for the Wildcats, Mike. She plays over 38 minutes a game. They really need her on the floor and her offensive presence exerting itself early.
And her rebounding as well, able to snatch that one away from Mary Baskerville. And talking to Coach Bretta about Gadeka, said, she's a player that can really score, mostly on the inside, but started to develop that outside game this season, but is such a great passer and strong on defense. And talking about strong on defense, Mary Baskerville with the rejection.
How quick did she recover to get out and contest that shot? Baskerville, the #1 shot blocker in the Big East, but the key to her success is she has such great spacing, Mike. Very rarely does she get a body up on that shooter.
Villanova goes back to work on the inside. Cameron Onken can't hit, and the Friars come away with it. Fast break opportunity as Onken was left behind. Here's Kayla Webb now looking for Baskerville, puts it up and was fouled by Herlihy. And Baskerville will head to the line shooting 2.
We talked about tempo with both of these coaches, and both of these teams are looking to push the ball a little bit more, try to get some early offense so they don't have to play against the other team's set defensively, and you can see that in the secondary look, getting the ball to Baskerville down low.
Well, defensively, these are the 2 top teams in the Big East in terms of defensive field goal percentage. Villanova at #1, allowing opponents to score at only a 36% rate. The Friars at 37%, so points so hard to come by.
Yeah, and conversely, they're both only averaging 60 points a game, so points in the paint, transition buckets, high percentage shooting going to be a big key in this basketball game.
Spiewak able to get a hand on that one to knock it out of bounds. It'll stay with Villanova. In the first meeting between these two back on December 29th, a 2-point game on Villanova's home floor as Raven James pumps it up for the outside, won't go. Nyasha Franklin comes down with the board.
Yeah, Baskerville, credit her with the tip. Baskerville really asserting herself early on the defensive glass.
Webb was feeling it, a little bit of a heat check that time, but couldn't get it to drop, and here comes Villanova with James. Gadeka left wide open at the free throw line. You don't see her miss that too much, but was able to get her own rebound.
Yeah, she's finding a soft spot in that Providence zone.
Quick rotation here for the Wildcats. Segrist going to work. Now they'll skip it on out for James to the corner for Herlihy. James, good look for 3. Won't go. And a fight for the rebound. Will draw a foul on the Friars.
Yeah, James a little bit cold from beyond the arc. She was red hot on Friday night at Creighton, Mike. 5 for 8 from distance. We've seen her have a couple good looks, just not able to get the ball in the basket.
Foul was charged to Erlette Scott, her first of the game, as she brings it up the floor against Gadeka. Now to the corner for Spiewak, who had a fantastic start against Georgetown on Friday night. As the threes were raining down early. This time it's Erlette Scott right down the middle of the paint.
Yeah, that's a chess match early. Villanova with the 3 bigs really puts them in a precarious position defensively. That time Erlette Scott, we've talked about her all year, how good she is off the dribble. That time able to get by Gadeka.
Gadeka rejected by Baskerville, then stepped out of bounds. Villanova just 1 for its last 11 here with 5:05 left in the first.
Yeah, really good start for Providence. We see them in a zone defense. Their primary defense is man-to-man, but there's something they liked about this matchup, that they're going with the zone early.
The Friars will make the first change of the game, getting Alyssa Geary in. That'll give Mary Baskerville a little bit of a rest as we get closer to the first media timeout. Coach Crowley always looking for ways to get some of those extra minutes as Nyasha Franklin able to convert on senior day.
What a great move. Went with a reverse type layup.
Villanova now already facing a 6-point deficit after getting blown out by 20 on the road at Creighton. Here's Siegrist, and she misses once again. Off to a cold start. James swinging it over for Siegrist now. Little spin move off the glass, won't go. And Siegrist now 0 for 5 for the game. Friars from the outside, Kira Spiewak. Friars bench loving it. Coach Peretta's got to call timeout. The Friars have opened up a 14-5 lead. Timeout on the floor as well. We'll step aside. We'll be back with more right here on the Big East Digital Network presented by SoFi.
You're watching Villanova women's basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
What is a Villanovan? In 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's break it.
1, 2, 3.
Together! That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
And welcome back once again to Mulaney Gym here inside Alumni Hall in Providence. The Friars out to a 14-5 advantage, but as we touched upon earlier, this is the final regular season game for head coach Harry Peretta of the Wildcats, and look at what he's been able to do with the Big East.
Tell you what, he's in some rarefied air there with some really prestigious company. That longevity, that success, it's a real program, and that continuity, really something that I know the whole Villanova community is extremely proud of. And you think about the success, 80 all Big East honorees over the course of that career. You certainly can't do it without players. And Coach Peretta has shown a great aptitude for recruiting the kind of talent that really works in his system.
And has really created that family atmosphere as tons of his former players in attendance here today after many were in attendance at their regular season home finale last weekend at Villanova. But just so much support for him, and he's been able to touch the lives of so many players over the course of his career at Villanova.
Yeah, talking to senior associate Lynn Ty a little bit earlier for Villanova, talked about the success of their alumni day since 1988. They've had consecutive alumni days that consistently draw 50 to 80 players. That's really a tribute to what women's basketball and that Villanova education meant to each of these young women.
Unfortunately for him and his Wildcats, they are ice cold to start this one. There's the Friars in the midst of a 9-0 run. And Villanova 0 for its last 10 shots from the field.
Yeah, and you just have that sense, Providence just a little bit quicker to the basketball, a little bit faster right now.
From the outside, though, getting them 3 points back. That was Brooke Mullen, the freshman from Langhorne, Pennsylvania.
Only 11 made buckets on the year from the three-point range. That's a big one.
Now Erlette Scott dumps it in for Geary. Spiewak trying to set up on the outside, pulls up for the jumper, won't go. Gadeka the rebound. Well, the Wildcats get into their offensive set. Raven James will float it over for Gadeka. As Mullen was camping out in the corner once again. She wanted it, was ready, she gets it. Scott the quick closeout that time. And now Herlihy Drives it out for James, down to 5 on the shot clock. Mullen for 3, won't go. And Naisha Franklin in there for the rebound.
That's a nice defensive series. The zone really active. Hands are up, players are communicating. That's exactly the execution you want to see in a half-court zone defense.
The Friars go back to work now with Alyssa Geary. Scott now picked up by James. She'll change the play, get her teammate set. Deep in the shot clock once again for the Friars. Geary with the left hand. Off the side of the rim, and Gadeka hauls in yet another rebound. She is already up to 7 rebounds here in just 8 minutes of action. Herlihy off the back of Spiewak. Now Gadeka leaves it off for James. Quick ball movement here by the Wildcats. The Friars unrelenting on defense. Down to 2 on the shot clock. James puts it up, and that'll be a shot clock violation.
Yeah, great action in the zone. Again, a couple deflections. Players really moving on the pass.
So Naisha Franklin heads to the bench now for a rest. Great minutes out of here to start this first quarter. Always nice when you get those seniors in there and they actually really contribute on Cedar Day.
And you're going to see Providence have an advantage with depth today. Wildcats only suiting up 9 players for the contest.
Yeah, it has been an issue. Some injuries and other assorted things going on. Here's Webb from the outside. Count it.
Yeah, inside out looks, paint touches to wide open kickouts. That's how Providence wants to play offensively.
Well,
we talked about them shooting the ball well early today.
There's Mullen from the outside trying to counter, and you almost wonder how much would Villanova have left in the tank after what they were able to do last weekend, beating Marquette and DePaul. The first team in the Big East to do that since the 2015-16 season. And of course, with all the extra emotion with Coach Bretta's final game at home, you knew that this weekend was going to be a challenge for them.
Yeah, it's been a tough one. Only 7 scholarship players healthy right now for the Wildcats as well. And absolutely an emotional weekend last weekend, and the players rose to the occasion. A couple milestone performances with Mary Gadeka moving up the all-time scoring chart. Talk about Maddie Segrist breaking the freshman scoring record held by Shelley Pennyfather.
Yeah, again, Segrist just such an amazing freshman year. Already broke the Big East all-time record for field goals attempted by a freshman. It was at 274 heading into today. If she makes 10 baskets, will break Maya Moore's record for rookie field goals made. And if she got up to 45 points, which doesn't look likely at this point, would set the all-time rookie scoring record for the Big East, not just for Villanova. And 10 Big East Rookie of the Week awards already. She gets an 11th this week. It'll be the all-time best. Quick cut on the inside that time for Brooke Mullen. And a little bit of life here from Villanova late in the first.
Yeah, great recognition by Gadeka. See the backdoor cut.
Skip to the corner, in rhythm. Kayla Webb was fouled. Or did they say the foul was pushing Cooper?
Yeah, I think they're going to get the foul on Mullen. Cooper setting a nice flare screen on that weak side.
So non-shooting, since it was on the floor, the foul was the pushing of Cooper. And that'll be the second personal on Brooke Mullen already. About a 6-second differential here between the two clocks to close out this first quarter as Kayla Webb surveys the scene. Here's Williams, the speed demon for the Friars. Geary from the outside won't go, and Herlihy, a nice job of getting that rebound without fouling. Down to 6 seconds. Herlihy wanted to let it fly. Segrist, the long skip. Here's Gadeka for 3. Won't go, and that's how the quarter will end. The Friars, impressive. The 19-10 lead, and we're going to get like a whistle. And they're going to maybe put a little bit of time back on the clock here.
I think we might have a foul before the buzzer.
So maybe a push on the rebound attempt after the wild 3 from Gadeka. We'll see. So it's going to go against Heaven Bristow, her first personal. And now we'll have to wait and see if they put any time back on the clock. So they're checking the replay now to review the type of foul there, and I guess when it occurred, and if and how much time would go back on the clock. Either way, there won't be much time on the clock as Kadeka firing that shot with less than a second.
It was definitely on the weak side action on that crashing of the board.
So they got Kevin Bristow for the push on the rebound attempt. My guess is going to be about a half second or so. As there was the foul as the ball was coming in. Clear push there. So Kevin Bristow picks up her first right at the end of the first. Now it's just a matter of how much time. No free throws would be involved at this point. No, we're going to step aside as they figure things out here in Providence. We'll be back with more from Alumni Hall. This is the Big East Digital Network presented by SoFi.
You're watching Villanova Women's Basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
So 0.6 seconds put back on the clock, and the tip attempt for Segrist won't go, and that'll take us to the end of the first quarter. Officially, Providence still with that 19-10 lead. And now we'll step aside and be back with more from Mulaney Gym here inside Alumni Hall. This is the Big East Digital Network presented by SoFi.
We're all in, all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're gonna work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go show them. 1, 2, 3. Together!
This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
And welcome back once again to Mulaney Gym here inside Alumni Hall. And of course, the associate head coach, Joe Mulaney, his father, the court here in Providence named after him. And Coach Joe Mulaney also spent some time as the Providence head coach here for the women's program back in the early 80s and has been with Coach Peretta since, well, now in his 24th season. And always a special moment, I think, when Coach Mulaney is able to return to what was basically his home for a long time.
Well, and ask Coach Peretta any special memories of coming to Providence to play the Friars, and he indicated about Joe Mulaney and also the relationship with Dave Gavitt, one of the founding fathers of the Big East Conference.
Of course, Joe Mulaney Sr., the Providence men's coach from 1955 to 1969, and then had another stint from 81 to 85. And of course, Joe Mulaney Jr., a Providence College grad, class of 78. And now we're going to send it on down to the third member of our team, Ashley Liotis, who is spending some time over in the Villanova huddle.
Hey guys, yeah, I was. Head coach Harry Peretta, not the happiest of coaches right now. He said they are playing too slow and they need to make better decisions. To be honest with you, they're really not shooting well right now, shooting right at 20% in this first quarter. And it's something I spoke with him earlier before today's matchup got underway. I said, what do you guys need to do to win? He said, we have to shoot at 50%. When they shoot at 50% or higher, they are 3-0. But right now, again, guys, only 3 games this season shooting above 50% or better. One of those games, though, was that DePaul game. They did shoot 50% coming away with the win, but they have to shoot better if they want to come away with this win today, guys.
All right, and thank you, Ashley. And yes, the shooting not exactly where they wanted in that first quarter, just that 20%, just 4 made field goals for the Wildcats.
And they've had some looks. We've seen them moved the basketball really well, very patient. There's a good look inside.
Gadeka taking care of business.
Yeah, she's going to finish. She's so strong. We've seen her hit from the outside. She's added the element of being able to put the ball on the floor, and that time just a great look inside for the finish.
Now we'll see how the Friars respond. Their opening possession of this quarter. Heaven Bristow, got all the way in, but did everything but make the basket. Now a chance for Villanova. Got the lead down a little bit further. Providence led by as many as 11 in the first quarter. Around it comes now as Onken leaves it off for Gadeka. Back for Onken. Puts up the three and drains it. You talk about Cameron Onken, who had a heck of a game last week against DePaul. Only the second ever triple-double in Villanova history.
Well, that's an understatement. What a game. 18 rebounds, and a career best 10 assists. She's known as a really solid, gritty defensive player, but she certainly came alive offensively last weekend.
Yeah, an eye-opening victory for the Wildcats as the Friars turn it over again after Maddie Siegrist came up with the block. They're still looking to get her going. She's 0 for 5 so far today. There's Gadeka trying to get around Webb on that mismatch, but can't get it to fall. Bristow comes up with the rebound, and now Chanel Williams will take over. Quickly ahead, but punched away by Herlihy. What great anticipation that time out of the senior from Braintree, Massachusetts.
Yeah, Williams a little bit too long of a pass, telegraphed it a little bit. Good job shooting the gap by Herlihy. Both teams pretty good job in terms of defensive transition.
So now a well-rested Mary Baskerville only played 5 minutes in the first quarter. She returns to the floor with Cooper and Spiewak.
That's so important with that Friday-Sunday format. Trying to keep legs fresh.
Here's Geary. Outside shot. Kayla Webb once again hits from downtown. Her third three of the game.
Yeah, Geary's a really good passer. She's 6'4", so she certainly has good vision. That time she set that pass up with a nice ball fake, and Webb, one of the best three-point shooters in the league.
And a traveling violation that time on Herlihy. And back to your point about Alyssa Geary, that's one player that Coach Crowley was singling out as someone who's improved the most from the non-conference part of the schedule into the Big East, that she's really stepped up in these conference games and improved her game.
Yeah, good point. He talked about Alyssa Geary being on a really great trajectory. We know how high the coaching staff is on the talented sophomore class, and she's certainly a big piece of that.
Here's Gardler leaving it inside the lane for Siegrist. Pulls up for the jumper and finally gets her first bucket of the day.
Yeah, that was in rhythm. A nice shot fake as well. With a great scorer like that, and Harry Peretta said Maddie Siegrist has an absolute knack for scoring the basketball. Sometimes it only takes one.
Here's Geary from the outside. Not a three, but still a long-range jumper. And she does have that range, though, beyond the arc.
And her footwork is excellent. That time, she squared up, really efficient, keeps the ball high. Just a talented player.
And again, part of that twin tower monster that they have with her in Baskerville. So tough for teams to match up against. Siegrist. It's Gardler, and across it comes now. Onken inside. Herlihy working hard against Baskerville, puts it up, and it won't go.
Yeah, that's Mary Baskerville's length, her ability to alter shots.
Webb now thought about the three, gives way to Geary for three. Count it! And the foul on the floor as Herlihy got tied up with Baskerville. The foul's going to count. The basket counts and the foul against Herlihy, and that'll be her second.
That's a big possession. Geary's going to get a break, but what a spurt offensively out of the big sophomore.
And the Friars already lighting it up from the outside. 5 of 7 from beyond the arc. Similar to what we saw against Georgetown here on Friday night. Here's Baskerville. Easy bucket for her. As Herlihy is kind of almost playing with an arm tied behind her back with the 2 fouls.
Yeah, a little jump hook there out of Mary Baskerville.
Again, we're talking about the lack of depth right now. The players here for Villanova. Herlihy's going to have to be careful as a failed rebound that time for the Friars, and Siegrist makes them pay.
Yeah, 3 Friars right around that defensive rebound. Nobody could corral it. Opportunistic play by Herlihy.
Here's Webb now working against Raven James. Trying to use the screen from Baskerville. Franklin going to work. Off the glass, no good. And Onken to rebound.
A little bit of off-balance shot that time by Franklin.
Floats it to the corner, James. And now Herlihy pulls up for the jumper. Got it.
6'2" senior. Coach Crowley talked about her length being very impactful. Very active player for the Wildcats.
Yeah, logs a lot of minutes, over 31 per game. They're going to need all of that here today. As they go inside to Baskerville, working on Herlihy, too strong. And the foul on the rebound attempt. It's going to go against Andrea Cooper, her first of the afternoon. And that brings us to a break in the action here in Providence. The Friars leading this one by 8. We'll be back with more from Friartown right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
You're watching Providence Women's Basketball on Big East Digital Network.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, and we got to raise it up.
Big cities, big names, big legacies, big sisters and brothers, big ideas, big expectations, big stage, big results. That's the Big East way.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
What is a Villanovan? In 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
And welcome back once again to Mulaney Gym here inside Alumni Hall. And if you like what you're seeing today, you're going to love what you see later this week in Chicago. The Big East tournament finally upon us. By the end of today, we'll finally know who is seated where. One thing you need to know right now, tickets still available. Go to bigeast.com/WBB tickets. Check out all the different ticket packages they have. First round action starts at 11 a.m. this coming Friday.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun today to check the scores. DePaul, the only seed, decided coming into today they're the number one. We know Providence is locked into that first round game on March 6th, but that's all we know, Mike. And again, talk about parity from positions 2 to 10 going into that last day of competition.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for more if you're in charge of that conference. Excitement with every game mattering down the stretch. We'll have to miss that time from James. The Friars go to work as Villanova really shooting the ball much better than they did in the first quarter.
Yeah, and thinking about the Villanova Wildcats position, Mike, they're still in jeopardy of having to play that first game. A loss today puts them in that 7th seed, and every team wants to avoid that. You don't want to have to play the 4 games in potentially 4 days.
No, they came into today a 4-way tie for 4th place in the Big East, but a lot can change, and again, every game impacts the other one. And there, the Friars were able to get a couple more points as Cooper able to hit her first shot of the day, and the Friars turned them over again. Webb in transition wanted Baskerville, but nice job by Mary Gadeka getting back.
Harry Peretta talked about that Achilles heel in the turnover. This is one of the teams he's had that has really turned the ball over at a higher rate than is typical for the Wildcats program.
Yeah, it's an area that both teams have struggled with all season long. Both are last in the Big East in terms of turnover margin. The Friars at minus 5.6 and Villanova at minus 3.3.
Yeah, and both coaches would say there's a lot of unforced turnovers in that mix. So that's the decision making you really count on, especially when you start to get into tournament play, the value of the basketball.
From the outside, once again, this one will not fall for Brooke Mullen. Friars come down with the rebound, and with 3 minutes to go here in the second, Friars looking to extend what's already a 10-point lead. They have led by as many as 12, as they went out to a 19-10 lead through the first quarter. They dump it in for Spiewak. She'll put up the jumper and hits. Had a little bit of space. Nobody closed out on her.
Yeah, it was a tough position to catch the ball in, and once she squared up, the defense kind of faded away, and Kira Spiewak taking what the defense gave her, and she's certainly been on fire shooting the ball. Leading scorer on Friday night here against Georgetown.
Villanova in desperate need of some points, and another tough pass on the interior, a little too low for Gadeka to handle. Cooper, the feed, Baskerville the finish.
Baskerville's one of the best bigs running the floor in the Big East, and you certainly want to reward her. How about Andrea Cooper?
And she is really
taking it coast to coast.
Yeah, she's really stepped up her game over the last couple of contests for Coach Crowley. He was very high on her play as of late. Someone who's also become more of a vocal leader out there. Another miss from Segrist. Her tough day continues. Baskerville able to come up with it. And now Webb will slow things down with about a minute 45 left in the first quarter. Excuse me, first half.
Yeah, you're right. The coach's high praise for Cooper. They said it even starts in that pregame warm-up. One of the emotional leaders of this squad. We've always seen her contribute on the defensive end, and now she's really starting to do some nice things offensively as well.
A little bit too much behind that pass for Mary Baskerville, and unfortunately not a souvenir for a lucky fan, as you might see in some other sports. But certainly a tough turnover there for the Friars. That is, it's only their third, so they've done a much better job so far today of taking care of the ball. But that's one of those unforced errors that Coach Crowley would love to have back. Now Villanova with Mackenzie Gardler, Gadeka, Segrist, and around it goes. Mullen, they've been trying to get her open for three. Can't deliver that time. Franklin fighting for that rebound and drew the contact with Cameron Onken.
Good look at Nyesha Franklin, her second year in the program. Coach has talked about her as well, being a real mature voice on the bench, calming presence, talking a lot to the sophomores as they come out of the games, a real leader in terms of that experience, and it's great to see her get some minutes today, some quality time.
Yeah, and this is a young team for the Friars. Again, a ton of sophomores, ton of freshmen, and sprinkle of juniors, and then just a lone senior, Nyesha Franklin. Here's Cooper going to work, looking for Franklin, but Gadeka getting back and robbing it.
Too much traffic.
Under a minute to go. Wager from the outside. She just had checked in. And that is only her second made three-pointer of her career. The freshman from Newcastle, Maine, with a big bucket to give Villanova a lift.
Carrie Peretta looking for a combination that's going to have some success.
Again, only 9 players suited up for the Wildcats today. Cooper slip past Gadeka and hits again. Lead back to 13.
It's a great maneuver offensively. Anytime a team's in an overplaying, overextending defensive situation, you can release by going back door. And again, Geary, one of the best passers on the Friars.
Closing second, shot clock off, trying to free up Segrist, lost the handle. Gardler's gonna have to hurry. Wager denied by Franklin. The senior coming up with a huge block, and the bench is ecstatic for the Friars. They will head into the locker room with a 13-point lead. We'll be back with more from Friartown. This is the Big East on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
You're watching Providence basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
What is a Villanovan in 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Together!
That's the Big East Way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
And welcome back to Alumni Hall here in Providence at the half, 37-24 Friars. And again, one of many games across the Big East today, the regular season finales across the league. And one of those games taking place at Creighton today. And of course, Creighton under Coach Flannery has been doing some amazing things out there. And we're going to check out some of the culture things going on with the Blue Jays out in Omaha.
The entire recruitment with Creighton compared to other schools, it was just different. Like when you talk to other schools, they wanted to know like some facts about you, but it wasn't necessarily you as a person. Whereas Creighton, they took a genuine interest in who I was outside of basketball. And then I felt like their morals and values kind of lined up with what I was looking for. So it was really just perfect.
The biggest thing that stood out to me during my recruitment at Creighton is the effort. They made it a point to really build a relationship with me and my parents. They were constantly in contact with me, asked me how my day was, really getting to know me as a person and not just a basketball player, and I think that makes the world of a difference.
We think it's important to treat people the right way, to treat them well, to be demanding, but also to take care of them and let them know that we're here for them, we're here to listen.
Flan understands that basketball is just a small part of life and there's a lot more to life than that. And I honestly think that that contributes to our success on the court because it takes some of the pressures off you and you kind of just are free to play and to grow and to know that it's not going to be perfect.
We're also about more than just the athletic experience and the student experience. I think it's important that you give them an opportunity to experience as much of Creighton as is possible for a student athlete. So we probably monopolize their time a little bit less than some programs do, and when we are on the road, we let them do things that are cultural and educational.
When you're not constantly at each other's necks in practice, and we get to go do fun things when we go on these trips, so you get to learn a lot about each other. You know, there's so many examples of kids that you would never put together as friends that become really, really close friends, that it shows you the importance of having those off-court encounters.
Coming into college, you don't really know what to expect, but the culture here and the people here, you have 11 built-in best friends. And I can say for a fact that if I'm having a bad day, every single teammate would be able to just listen and give advice, whether you really need to hear it or not.
The one thing that strikes me the longer I've been in coaching is just how great a job our players do at looking out for one another. Juniors and seniors are really mindful of the adversity maybe and the stumbling blocks that freshmen and sophomores are going to go through, and I think they do a great job.
The people here, the community here, the experience you have here, teammates, all of that, when you reflect back on it, it's well worth it.
great voices ready to start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're going to work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go show them. 1, 2, 3.
Together! This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
And welcome back once again to Friartown. We are at the half, and the host Friars out to a 13-point lead over the visiting Wildcats of Villanova. Mike Mancuso alongside Pam Roker. And Pam, as we always like to do with this segment, time to take a look at the week that was in Big East women's basketball. Some of the major award winners from last week's performances, and you got to start with Mary Gadeka.
Absolutely do. She's 8th in scoring now, and she needed 6 points today to move up to 7th all-time. Get this one, her mom's actually 5th all-time, so she's chasing her mom in terms of her record of 1,622 points.
Yeah, it was
Lisa
fun to,
Angelai.
Yeah, fun to talk to Coach Beretta about that. So they're very similar players. The only difference really that the mother, Lisa, a little bit better from the perimeter, but boy, has Gadeka been working on that perimeter game.
Yeah, and she's a great playmaker as well.
Of course, many familiar names on the Big East honor roll this past week. Kristen Spolier, you talk about the year she's been having, and Maddie Secrecy having a tough start to this one with only the 4 points, but is on one of those lists almost every single week.
Yeah, and Ariana Gray for Xavier, we've talked about her. Spolier doing a nice job for Butler. Jalen Agnew, she's got my vote for Player of the Year and what she's done for Creighton. Just an explosive scorer, but I'll tell you what, that's an amazing group right there. Shantae Stonewall, you know, she's got her eye on the prize as she helps lead the Blue Demons through that tournament next weekend.
Yeah, I think those are your top two candidates right there, Stonewall and Agnew for the Player of the Year. We'll see how that all shakes out later on this month. But time for us to step aside once again. We'll be back with more from Alumni Hall. This is the Big East on the Big East Digital Network presented by SoFi.
You're watching Villanova women's basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was gonna spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
And welcome back once again at the half here in Providence. And Pam, we've talked a lot about it already today, but the importance of this game and every game across the Big East is to look at the standings there. Almost all the seeding outside of the number 1 seed up for grabs.
Yeah, when you see it visually, it's even more impactful when you think about the parity and how all these teams have been playing since November. It comes down to the very last day in terms of that all-important positioning. It was a big game for Providence on Friday here because they worked to stay out of that number 10 spot. The Friars competing for that 8th and 9th seed right now, and we've talked about Villanova.
Absolutely, and of course Villanova wants to be out of that 7. They do not want to play in that first round game on Friday. So with that said, time for us to step aside once again. We'll be back with highlights and stats right here on the Big East Digital Network presented by SoFi.
What is a Villanovan? In 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders in these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah!
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
And welcome back once again to Mulaney Gym here inside Alumni Hall. Mike Mancuso, Pam Roker. Time to check out some of the highlights from the first half. That's all the Friars take a 37-24, and it was raining threes again. The Friars 5 of 7 from the perimeter. Mary Gadeka, though, also hitting for them the outside. That's an area of her game she has been working so hard on. Erlette Scott, though, a little juke move to get around Gadeka and inside for a quick bucket. Scott would finish with 4 points for the first half. Spiewak, again, a big part of that three-point perimeter game for the Friars. Kayla Webb as well. Webb would finish 3 of 4 from beyond the arc.
Yeah, and the Wildcats, they had a little bit of luck with some backdoor movement. That time, a good look by Gadeka. They certainly moved the ball around. We talked about Onken coming off the triple-double against DePaul last Sunday. Geary showing some of her offensive skill set with the step back. And then Mary Baskerville, only 6 points in that first half, but she's really dynamic from down low. Herlihy, that was her only bucket of the half, but the 6'2 senior's been very active. And again, Kira Spiewak really starting to come into her own as a scorer.
Yeah, and you mentioned Baskerville, only 6 points, but very balanced scoring as we turn our attention to some of the numbers from the first half. For the Friars, a blistering 50% from the field. Villanova, after shooting 20%, upped it to about 29% by the end of the half. But really the difference, the three-point shooting and the overall shooting prowess of the Friars in that first frame.
Yeah, and the Friars going to be pretty happy. They've got 20 more minutes of work, but they led start to finish, talking about putting the ball in the basket at a high rate. 12 points in the paint, 8 off of fast breaks. Tempo and the advantage of the Friars so far today.
And now it's time once again to bring in the third member of our team for another update. Ashley Lyotis, what do you got?
Hey guys, yeah, I just spoke to both head coaches, one before that halftime, one right now after. Now, head coach Harry Pareto with Villanova said, you know, they need to think better when they're out there. They need to get better shots. They need to get more shots. He said they're turning it over way too much. They had 5 in that first half. He said they might switch the lineup and throw someone in there who's going to take and make some of those shots. Now, on the other side, head coach Jim Crowley said, you know, he really likes the tempo that they're playing at and setting them up for success. He likes their ball movement. They've been able to shut out almost completely Maddie Segrist. Mary Gadeka right now also as well, not getting above single digits there in that first half. He said they really need to contest every shot with them, and if they continue to do that and continue to play like this, they will win. Guys.
Thank you, Ashley. Yeah, some very good points from both head coaches, knowing what they need to do to kind of turn things around here in the second half. And keep in mind, the Friars only put up 49 on the board against Villanova in the first meeting, already at 37.
Yeah, and they only averaged 60 on the year, so they're ahead. But when you talk about Gadeka and Seacrest, Mike, they account for 60% of the Wildcats' offense night in and night out. So the job the Friars are doing on those two young ladies right now, very impressive.
And one of the issues that has kind of plagued the Friars all season long is playing a complete 40 minutes. We've seen them play 2 awesome quarters, 3 great quarters, but putting together that full game, if they can do that today against this Villanova team, could bode well for them heading into Chicago later this week.
Building some great momentum. You talked about the win on Friday night against Georgetown, and Coach Crowley was even really happy with their effort in a loss the weekend before out at Butler. So you're right, if they can start to build some confidence and momentum, certainly a plus going out to Chicago.
Absolutely. So we get set now for the start of the second half. Final regular season game for Coach Pareto as he looks for answers here to get his team back in this one. Friars will have possession to start this third quarter. It'll be Kayla Webb with the inbounding duties, and here we go. Friars from right to left in those home whites, black numerals. Nova in the road navies and white numbers. Here's Erlette Scott, little up and under move, and able to draw a foul right away on Siegrist. And for Maddie Siegrist, that'll be her second personal of the game.
Yes, got good creativity in that low block. And one of the things I'm really impressed with is the balance so far out of the Providence scores. Seven different Friars are on the board offensively, and Scott certainly have seen her put the ball on the floor. That time, a little movement in the low post.
Yeah, Friars doing a nice job trying to get to the rim that time. Villanova, they've yet to take a free throw. They just have not been able to attack and get that contact on the inside as Scott splits a pair of free throws. We'll see what Villanova does on its opening possession as they face their largest deficit of the game.
Yeah, Friars content to stay in this zone. Again, Mike, this zone only works if you're talking. Look at the hands up. Look at the communication.
Siegrist. Even that's how you break the zone.
Yeah, and look at Maddie Siegrist come alive from 3. Second leading freshman scorer in the entire country. 19 points a game. We'll see if she can start to get hot in the second half.
She's got 7 now, and Webb trying to answer for Providence. Hits it off the side of the rim, and no one there to rebound. So it will go to the Wildcats here as they look to charge back. Again, Villanova wants to stay out of that 7 seed. They do not want to play on Friday. Turnover by Siegrist as Scott was there to intercept the pass. Siegrist nearly able to get it back as Franklin will hold up now for Webb. Friars will go into their set. To the corner it goes. Webb now trying to penetrate. Leaves it back for Franklin. The jumper too strong, and Herlihy that time. Good position for the rebound. James, good look for 3. Drains it. A little slow on the rotation were the Friars. And just like that, Nova's cut it down to an 8-point game on back-to-back threes.
Good start coming out of halftime by the Wildcats. Siegrist from 3, James from 3.
Spiewak leaving it off for Webb. And she tries to work against James. Scott now, already single digits on the shot clock here for the Friars. Scott goes to work again and able to take Herlihy off the dribble.
I love that size at the guard position, 5'10". We know she's got the handle with both hands. Loves that hesitation, really sets her up. And when she gets in the paint, she's so strong with that basketball.
And she's deceptively quick. Sometimes it seems like she's going at a slower pace, and all of a sudden she's by you.
Yeah, she's got a really big first step.
Oh, big time move that time. Mary Gadeka able to get the bucket and the foul on Mary Baskerville. And a chance for the old-fashioned three-point play here for Mary Gadeka. And quickly, Coach Crowley is going to go to the bench, bringing in Alyssa Geary. Out goes Kayla Webb, as he wasn't happy with something he saw there on the defensive end. And Gadeka makes it a 7-point game.
Yeah, 5 double-doubles on the year. She's definitely on pace to pick up her 6th double-double. Gadeka again, so many minutes for this Wildcats team. Averages 38 a game. Number 1 in minutes played, Mike, in the Big East.
And that time, Naija Franklin going down awkwardly as she tried to work her way down the baseline. Turns it over. That's just the 5th turnover of the game for the Friars. They come in averaging 17.5 in Big East play. James will swing it over for Herlihy. And around it goes now Onken. Siegrist off balance 3 and hits.
Wow, that was a great ball fake into the step back. Going to force the Crowley timeout, but excellent start to this third quarter by Villanova.
Yeah, Villanova on fire from the outside here in the third quarter. Timeout on the floor. We'll step aside as well. 4-point game in Providence right here on the Big East Digital Network presented by SoFi.
You're watching Villanova women's basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
Stay Big cities. Big names. Big legacies. Big sisters and brothers. Big ideas. Big expectations. Big stage. Big results. That's the Big East way.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was gonna spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
And welcome back to Mulaney Gym here inside Alumni Hall in Providence. Final regular season game and Big East action for these two. And that's all leading up to the Big East tournament at the Wintrust Arena in Chicago this coming Friday. The action begins at 11 a.m. for the first round. Tickets still available, all kinds of fantastic packages, and a great venue to take in some excellent basketball action. Go to bigeast.com/WBB tickets. As Coach Peretta and his staff talked about needing to shoot the ball a little bit better, and they have certainly done that. 4 for 4 in the second half, 3 for 3 from downtown, and they have turned it was a 14-point deficit and just a 4-point deficit in a matter of 2.5 minutes.
Well, the difference is just knocking down the open looks. They had shots in that first and second quarter. We saw some uncharacteristic misses from close range. Wildcats still responding, coming out of the half.
And Segrist able to get the deflection off of Geary. And the Friars come up empty again on the offensive end here in the third.
Yeah, and a check of the resilience. You talk about a young Friar squad, had some real good success early in this game. Can they respond? You know, it was inevitable that the Wildcats were going to make a run with their firepower. Can Providence respond?
Segrist juggling the ball there, avoided the travel. Now the little floater won't go. Gadeka there for the second chance and gets it.
Soft hands. 9th in career rebounds for the Wildcats. Did a nice job working the weak side glass.
So Segrist and Gadeka both into double figures now, 10 and 12 respectively, as the Friars go to work with Geary. Little turnaround, left it short. Cooper, though, a nice rebound. Tipped it over to Spiewak, and she couldn't complete the play. Now Villanova actually a chance to take the lead with a 3. As Herlihy looks to the bench for instructions.
Providence out of the zone in a man-to-man look.
They go inside to Gadeka. She backs down Cooper, but it's going to be an offensive foul on Mary Gadeka. She can't believe it.
Yeah, I thought she actually might have traveled before the offensive foul.
Yeah, that's what I thought they were going to get her too, but
another
look here. And
could tell they were going into Gadeka the whole time.
Yeah, maybe there was a little bit with that left shoulder, kind of took it right into the chest of Cooper. So it's only the first on Gadeka. And the second team foul on the Wildcats here in this quarter.
And as active as she is, she does a nice job staying out of foul trouble.
Arlette Scott lost the handle as Cameron Onken just ripped it right away. And again, Villanova will have a chance to tie or take the lead.
Scott has the assignment on Segrist.
Step back for Herlihy, foot on the line and banks it in. I thought the banks were supposed to be closed on Sunday, but Herlihy hitting the long-range jumper.
And you could just see the momentum shift starting to happen. Villanova, a little more intensity on the defensive end.
They have outscored the Friars 16-3 here in the quarter. Arlette Scott for 3, won't go. And the rebound to Segrist.
Yeah, that big Mo, you can tell.
Yeah, Villanova has not led at any point in this game, but a chance here as they are on a 10-0 run over the last 3 minutes. And a foul on Baskerville. That'll be her second.
And Baskerville didn't jump off on the catch with Herlihy. Too close, too much body on the ball handler.
No timeout on the floor. We are all deadlocked at 40 apiece. We'll be back with more from Providence right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
You're watching Providence Women's Basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
What is a Villanovan? In 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah!
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
And welcome back once again to Alumni Hall in Providence. Last weekend at Villanova, Wildcats head coach Peretta celebrating his final regular season home game and had a lot of his former players come back, and what a celebration it was. Told me it was one of his all-time top 5 moments in his coaching history.
Well, that's what legacy looks like right there. 42 years on the bench. He got the job at 22 years old, Mike. Jimmy Carter was president. That's how long he's been on the sidelines. And just recently it was announced that Harry Peretta is the 2020 Carol Ekman Integrity in Coaching Award winner. He said that award just means a lot to him because of the character and the integrity that it represents, the off-the-court things. He was very proud of that. And again, he got the job at 22 years old, but he was actually, even as an undergraduate, he only played 1 year of basketball at Lycoming. He was the head men's JV coach, so he's been coaching a long time, 45 straight years, and you can see some of the other things. How about the Bee Gees having the #1 song back then as well?
Yeah, I thought they might play it here later on today inside Alumni Hall. But, I asked him not about, his final games that have all been playing out. I asked him about his first game as a head coach, and he said, honestly, couldn't remember much about it. All he remembered was his college buddies coming to watch and cheer him on. Dug a little deeper, found out they won that game. It was against Philadelphia Textile, a 65-38 win. His Wildcats here, though, have clawed all the way back to even things up. Herlihy, a big part of that, able to get out of the double team. And now Mary Gadeka, who's been outstanding, double figures now for 14 straight games, 27th of the season, 80th of her career. But Kayla Webb comes up with a big steal.
That was a good stop coming out of the timeout. And Gadeka, again, you talk about that consistency over the longevity of her career. Really going out. She was an all-second team player last year. Certainly you would think would have at least some votes for that first team honor this season.
Absolutely. As Friars nearly turn it over again, already down to 6, and another airmailed pass from Baskerville. No chance for Kayla Webb to come up with that one.
Yeah, we've seen Baskerville turn the ball over a couple of times. That's her 3rd turnover on the day, trying to make that skip pass to the weak side.
Her 3rd of the day, 8th of the day for the Friars here so far. Here's James, thought about 3 as they keep the rotation moving. Onken now for Herlihy. Pulls up for the jumper and hits. And for the first time today, Villanova leads thanks to that bucket from the senior, Bridget Herlihy.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup. She's 6'2", able to pull that jumper off over the 5'6" Kayla Webb.
Webb now trying to answer for Providence, who's only put up 3 points in this frame. They have gone ice cold from the floor. Friars just 1 of 6. Another tough pass from Baskerville. This time, though, Cooper able to come up with it. Off the glass, won't go. Geary tips it to herself, puts it up and in.
It's a nice move by Geary in traffic. Cooper went strong to the basket, couldn't get the shot to fall, but second chance points.
Yeah, and that breaks what was a 12-0 run for the Wildcats and draws Providence even with just over 2 minutes left. Herlihy feeling it, won't go. Baskerville the rebound. Webb barely able to keep it alive as James was set up right behind her. Scott for Baskerville, and she was tied up with Segrist. And they're going to say just going to be an old-fashioned turnover on the Friars.
Yeah, and I just read Jim Crowley's lips. He's talking to Erlette Scott saying why that was going to be a real tough catch in traffic. Scott also had a lot of heat on that pass, so another turnover as they continue to mount for Providence.
Villanova outscoring the Friars 18-5 now in this third quarter. They're up to 38% from the field. Here's Segrist from the outside, won't drop. Kadeka, though, she's been fighting for those rebounds. She has a double-double already today. 12 points, 11 rebounds for the talented senior. Can't get that one to drop. The fight for the rebound again. Kadeka will not be denied. Herlihy. The kick out for Kadeka. Trying to get to that baseline. Up and in and one. And Mary Kadeka taking over here in the third quarter.
Well, she absolutely is. She's putting the Villanova Wildcats on her back. You love it when your seniors are playing their best basketball, not only in their senior year, but going into March, Mike. And this young lady has come into this third quarter on a mission. She's really been everywhere.
Well, and you know, even though they had to spend a lot of energy to get back in this one, all the emotion of last weekend, you know they want to win this one for their coach today.
Oh, absolutely. They want to go on a deep run, and they have a lot of pride. Certainly with only 7 scholarship players putting up the 16 wins, but they have more work they want to do.
Yeah, but Alyssa Geary not going to make things easy for Villanova. Comes up with another bucket. Geary up to 9 points now. And again, what's been a very balanced offensive output for the Friars today. Nobody in double figures. Segrist skips it over for James. Kadeka, Onken. Onken will fire it up. Too strong, and the rebound to Spiewak. And now, despite blowing the 14-point lead, the Friars a chance here in the final minute of the third to retake the lead.
Chanel Williams into the game, can break down any defense off the bounce. A distributing style point guard. She does have the green light to go to the rim as the shot clock winds down.
Geary for 3, won't go, but there's going to be a foul on Segrist as she ran over Franklin. And that'll be the third personal on Maddie Segrist. Immediate change coming off the bench as returning to the floor will be Bree Wager. Again, not a free throw situation here. It was only the third team foul. And Coach Peretta, I don't think too pleased.
Always
foul.
teaching to the final whistle.
And so the Friars will have a fresh 20 seconds here as they get it in to Spiewak. Webb now. About 16-second differential between the two clocks. Williams goes to work. Webb from the outside is going to have to hurry. Franklin blocked by Raven James. Really had no chance there. And now Villanova will have 16.1 seconds to reclaim the lead before the end of the third quarter. Coach Crowley was looking for a foul there, but not going to get it. Keep in mind, Segrist still on the bench here. Kadeka and Herlihy have been the main offensive weapons in the third. Here's Herlihy for 3, short. And we head into the fourth quarter, knotted up at 44 apiece. Don't miss a second. Come back for the fourth quarter right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
You're watching Villanova Women's Basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that. All right, we've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Together!
That's the Big East Way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
We're all in, all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're gonna work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go show them. 1, 2, 3.
Together!
This is our time.
When we bring it together and we're all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East Way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
And welcome back once again to Friartown, 44-44 through 30 minutes. Again, a whole lot of implications with this one and every game around the Big East today. Of course, for the Wildcats trying to win the regular season final game, for head coach Harry Peretta, for the Friars trying to build some more momentum coming off the win over Georgetown. And Pam, both these teams had kind of vastly different third quarters there. As Villanova shooting the ball extremely well, putting up 20 in the frame. The Friars with just 7.
Yeah, shooting at 50% from the floor. Definitely came out with a couple quick threes, which started to turn the tide. Got a young Friars squad that had to respond. It's going to be quite a fourth quarter. It's going to come down to the little things, taking care of the basketball, making high percentage shots, and if you can get to the free throw line, can you convert?
Kick ball that time from Kira Spivak. We're going to send it down to the third member of our team, Ashley Leotis, with another quick update.
Hey guys, last quarter here, all tied up. Both coaches a little more calm, cool, and collected than you would maybe assume. Now, head coach Harry Peretta saying they've been getting better shots on offense now, but they're still making some of those defensive mistakes. He wants them to compete a little bit harder. He said win or lose right now, they are competing, and that's all he can ask. Now on the other side, head coach Jim Crowley said their ball movement was a little bit better in that first half when they were up, so he wants to try and get back to that. And also he was telling the women, don't be tentative on offense. Very anxious to see how this one's going to play out, guys.
Raven James coming up with a big three-pointer, and that is the largest lead of the game for Villanova. Spivak trying to respond, gets her own rebound, and will drive it down this time. Got stuck between Segrist and Herlihy, and was able to get out of trouble.
Yeah, good hit, Ashley. Thank you. And offensively, the Friars' whole attack is built on moving the basketball.
On a dive to the basket that time, Chanel Williams, again, that B-button turbo, can get around almost anyone when she wants, and that time able to connect.
Yeah, I was going to say moving the basketball with the pass, unless you're really going downhill to the rim off the bounce, and Chanel Williams doing what she does best, taking it right to the rack.
Herlihy leaves it out, and around it comes. James, same spot she just hit from, this time won't fall, and Williams able to jump in for the rebound. She'll push the pace. Friars love the tempo. Circus shot won't go, but a foul on Villanova's Brooke Mullen will put Chanel Williams at the line, shooting 2.
Yeah, Williams just really forcing tempo. Nobody stops the basketball. Mullen just breaks the plane a little bit, sending Williams to the free throw line.
It's such a different matchup for opposing teams when Crowley throws out Williams versus Erlette Scott versus Kayla Webb at the point. As Williams connects on her first free throw. Shot the ball pretty well from the free throw line this season, 83% overall, 91% when it comes to Big East games. A member of the 2018 Big East all-rookie team was Williams, and comes up with 2 clutch free throws to give the lead back to the Friars.
Zone offense by the Wildcats. You can see the great spacing they have, a number of three-point threats on the floor. Really going to stretch the Friars defensively.
Gadeka, she'll launch the 3 and hit once again. Mary Gadeka from downtown.
And that's just beautiful ball movement again. Puts so much pressure on the Friars to extend.
Geary, the answer won't go. And a rebound for Maddie Siegrist. James now, as Villanova goes back to work, the 2-point lead. Herlihy flings up a wild one off the glass again.
Tell you what, the seniors really stepping up for Coach Peretta and the Wildcats.
Chanel Williams now. Geary thought about 3, now tries to take Herlihy, rejected by Herlihy. As the senior getting the best of the sophomore that time. We'll stay with Providence, 17 on the shot clock.
There's another look. Nice job by Herlihy again to keep that spacing, no body on the ball handler. Clean block.
Spiewak trying to set up in that corner, leaves it back for Williams. She'll penetrate inside, gets it out to Franklin. Here's Webb for 3, in rhythm, got it.
Absolutely called that one right, Mike, in rhythm for Kayla Webb. That's her 12th point of the game. Just a beautiful release. When she can get her feet set and shoots it with confidence, just one of the prettiest three-point shooters in the league.
Siegrist trying to answer, won't go, is a little strong on the shot. Webb the rebound, and here come the Friars. Webb outside for Geary, she's feeling it. Off the mark though is Herlihy, maybe getting in her head a little bit after that last rejection.
Yeah, that's a quick shot. That was a contested 3, not the shot the Friars are looking for. And again, this game has the feel of a possession-by-possession finish.
Gadeka trying to spin out of trouble, off the glass and in. Gadeka now up to 19 points.
She can hurt you in a variety of ways. 17-point average on the year, had 18 against Providence in the first matchup.
The long 3 that time from Kayla Webb won't go. And again, another shot very early in the possession for the Friars.
And you got to admire Gadeka's level of conditioning. We talked about 38 minutes plus a game. As hard as she plays and as involved as she is, Mike, that's a real tribute.
Herlihy hits from downtown again, and the Friars got to call timeout. They find themselves down by 6, their largest deficit of the game. Timeout on the floor as well. We'll step aside for just a few moments. We'll be back with more from Providence here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
You're watching Villanova women's basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
Big cities. Big names. Big legacies. Big sisters and brothers. Big ideas. Big expectations. Big stage. Big results. That's the Big East way.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, and we got to raise it up.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
What is a Villanovan? In 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts, solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
And welcome back to Mulaney Gym here in Alumni Hall in Providence. Villanova leading this one 57-51. A quick look at some other games in action right now. And man, what a little bit of a surprise there. Seton Hall up by 12 at the end of the first, 46-34.
Yeah, the Pirates exerting themselves on their home court, a chance to take down the number 3rd place, I guess, right now. If you look at the standings, Butler Bulldogs, all eyes on that 1 versus 2 matchup with DePaul and Marquette. How about the job Megan Duffy's done with the Marquette team this year, the Golden Eagles, really putting themselves right back in contention after the graduation loss of the 5 seniors and 5,000 plus points.
And the Friars trying to get back in this one after a tough 3rd quarter. And they had them outscored 20-7. They're outscored 13-7 here in the 4th. As Erlette Scott works it around, here comes Chanel Williams. Williams pulls up for the jumper and hits.
Wow.
She's been strong here in the 4th.
Yeah, really poised. We've always admired her grit and certainly her quickness. Starting to show some offensive firepower off the bench.
Friars desperately in need of a stop. As Villanova has been outstanding in the second half. Here's Herlihy from the outside, and she just continues to rain down threes. Her 3rd of the game, and the lead up to 7. Baskerville trying to post up against Herlihy. This time gives it out. Now Webb. Scott run into by Onken. He was trying to fire up the shot. And the referee is just going to give a simple blocking foul that time, non-shooting.
We saw Baskerville with the touch, but only 6 points on the day. 6 shot attempts for the star sophomore. Credit Villanova and the job Herlihy's done on Baskerville, at least up until this point.
Williams going to work again. Now Webb. Just couldn't get good leverage on the shot. Didn't even make it above the rim. And Villanova could actually milk a little time off the clock here.
Yeah, and Villanova's done a nice job starting to tighten things up on the defensive glass, limiting the Friars to 1 attempt every trip.
To the corner goes Herlihy. Swings it out for Segrist. Now James. Segrist once again, the floater, got it. Maddie Segrist continues to impress. Got off to a slow start. We're now up to 12 points. Friars go inside to Baskerville. Try to go up. 2nd attempt. Got it that time. And the Friars will call a quick 30-second timeout to talk things over, as realizing every possession so critical here with just 4 minutes, 9 seconds left.
Yeah, it was a nice job by Baskerville to stay in the place. She knew it was going to come up short right away, just a little quicker off her feet to track down that offensive rebound. Providence has to solve the offensive movement. Too many open threes and shots for the Wildcats right now. Let's see if Coach Crowley comes out of that zone, Mike, and matches up for the last 4 minutes of this basketball game.
Yeah, the 3-pointers have been an issue for the Friars here in the second half. They have allowed 7 made threes by the Wildcats. Villanova now 11 of 34 from the perimeter.
A high IQ out of these Wildcats, so they've got good spacing, they've got good ball movement. They've been really patient, not settling for a good shot, but waiting to get a great shot and shooting that high percentage. It's really been difficult for the Friars in this second half.
Gadeka going to work. Puts up the 3. Count it again. Unconscious shot that time from Mary Gadeka.
And so strong, the ability to stop on a dime, get in balance, get in rhythm, and again, you just can't say enough about that senior.
Baskerville turns it over on the inside as she was surrounded by a trio of Wildcats. The defense really stepped up as Gadeka on fire here in the second half. Already now her 13th career double-double and 6th of the season. She is up to 22 and 13 today.
Yeah, I want to mention now she's up to 6th all-time. I'm sorry, check that, 7th all-time in Villanova history in terms of scoring.
And a foul on the rebound attempt that time. I think they're going to get Maddie Siegrist, and that'll be her 4th personal. That could be a little bit of a developing story if the Friars can climb back in this one.
Another look at Gadeka. How about this storyline? So Mary is up to 7th all-time. She's chasing her mom, Mike. Lisa Angelotti was her maiden name. Her mom is 5th all-time with 1,622 points. And according to the Villanova staff, if they go on a run in the NIT, here she is on the run. Well, she has a chance to catch her.
Yeah, one of the worst turnovers of the season by the Friars. And Gadeka makes them pay dearly. And we're going to send it over to Ashley Leotis real quick for another update.
Hey guys, I just wanted to mention Mary, of course, on fire. I had to ask head coach Harry Peretta before the game, hey, do you ever call her Lisa by accident? He said no. Thankfully, I've never made that mistake.
Thanks, Ashley. That is a good nugget there from Coach Peretta. The Friars ice cold here in the second half, now down by 12 in Villanova, and simply going to kill the game mode.
Yeah, and staying with that storyline, her mom, Lisa Angelotti, the 1988 Big East Player of the Year, hasn't missed a game this season in the stands here again today.
Yeah, certainly nice for her to be able to follow Mary around the country this season, and of course her former head coach Harry Peretta as well. But now the Friars have really dug themselves a huge hole, down 12. And especially the way that Villanova is shooting the ball here in the second half. This one's going to be a tough hill to climb for Providence.
Well, you can't trade buckets, right? So you need stops. And the Friars have not had any answers, unfortunately for them, in this second half. Got to credit Gadeka for really putting the team on her back early in the third quarter. And Herlihy, again, when seniors step up, that's always a great sign. Yep. Hey, the time is now for them, right? The clock's running out, so they're certainly going to leave it all on the floor, and that sense of urgency increases with every game.
Yeah, we've seen a 26-point swing here today. The Friars led by as many as 14 back in the first half. But Villanova caught fire in the second half. They've made 6 of their last 7 shots from the field. And there's the miss, though, from Raven James. Friars a little bit discombobulated right now. Just over 2 minutes left. 12-point deficit to make up. They look to the inside, but Herlihy there to knock it away. It will stay with the Friars, but just 2:05 left.
Yeah, really no clean catches, no easy shots right now for Providence. Villanova has really increased the intensity. They won't play Chanel Williams from the perimeter.
And not a three-point threat, but is a threat to drive and penetrate. And this time the and one, as Onken just got beat.
Yeah, she sure did, and that's a defensive miscue because you want to play the drive for Williams. That time too slow on the reaction and compounds it not only by letting her go by, but fouling her.
So big free throw coming up now for Chanel Williams, the junior from the Bronx, New York. And she hits. Makes it a 9-point contest, and the Friars will call timeout once again. This will be a full timeout for Coach Crowley and his side as, again, they need to figure out a way to slow down this Villanova offense.
Yeah, and Providence not really a pressing team, Mike, so that is probably not an option right now, but they do need some stops in the half-court setting, and you've got a Wildcats team that's got some veteran leadership on the floor, so look for them to be smart about that shot clock. Use them as much of it as they can and try to get themselves a great shot or get to the free throw line.
Yeah, we've talked about the support for Coach Peretta. A ton of Villanova fans in attendance once again. And check out this final regular season home game for him. And again, what a storied career for Coach Peretta.
20-plus win seasons, 11 trips to the NCAA tournament. Really has been an amazing farewell tour. He said he's really been overwhelmed by the outpouring of some support. Says you have no idea how many people you touch you know, when you're a basketball coach, not only his alums, but the respect of the basketball coaching community. He was very close with former Tennessee women's basketball coach Pat Summitt. But just Harry's very well known, and his style of play, his ability to get players to really execute the half court is really legendary.
And in talking to him about some of his favorite moments as a head coach, mentioned the 1982 AIAW Final Four, which was played at the Palestra in Philadelphia. Of course, winning his first Big East title and beating UConn, which snapped, I think, a 70 or 72 game win streak for the Huskies. And of course, last Sunday's touching tribute in their home finale. Here's Villanova able to easily beat the press, but James getting in some trouble, and I'm going to say last touched by the Friars, and it will stay with Villanova. It looked almost for a moment that it went off of James, but
oh, they had a chance with James pinned on the sideline.
they get it into Gadeka, and she is fouled immediately by Spiewak. Gadeka, 70% free throw shooter on the season.
It's only the first team foul. Providence has several to give.
Baskerville will check out. Back in comes Geary.
Possession arrow in the Friars' favor if they get a tie-up.
And another quick foul on Spiewak. And that'll just be her second, team second. And again, Villanova slowly bleeding this clock away. Onken able to get it into Gadeka once again. Cooper trying to chase and gets the quick touch foul. Her second, team's third. And the Friars will get to do this one more time before they put the Wildcats at the line. And there it is. We'll see, do they get Webb or Williams? It'll be Williams. So that's the fourth team foul. Next one, Villanova shooting free throws.
See if the Wildcats can get the ball to Gadeka.
Get it to the senior Herlihy. Friars not going to foul here. They're going to try to get the stop that they've been looking for.
8 seconds on the shot clock.
Segrist, the deep three, left it well short. So the Friars get the stop they wanted. Spiewak, Webb. Webb trying to get inside, puts it up, no good as Segrist partially blocked it. Just over a minute left and a foul from Williams, her second, will put Raven James at the line shooting two. 78% free throw shooter this year.
Leads the Wildcats in assists, and she's a great story as well. Has tripled her minutes per game this season. Has started every game for Coach Peretta.
Sophia Widmeyer in now as Webb heads over to the bench. James hits the first, makes it a 10-point margin. And more importantly, makes it a 4-possession game. Second one good as well. The Friars running out of time. Williams, coast to coast, lost the handle and wound up out of bounds. And they're going to get a foul on the Wildcats. Raven James with the personal. That's just her first of the day.
Just a real tale of two halves. Providence looked to be in total control in the first half of basketball. Came out shooting the ball well, really firing out all cylinders on both ends, Mike. And coming out of halftime, we saw the Wildcats just turn up the heat offensively.
Yeah, Providence outscored 45-22 so far here in the fourth. Williams up to 9 points now. They'll make it an even 10 for the junior. Segrist back in. As the Friars extend the defense into the press. Widmeyer comes up with a turnover. And then Spiewak throws it right back away as Mary Gadeka able to intercept. And Gadeka will be at the line shooting two. The foul goes to Andrea Cooper. And they might have actually corrected it. But either way, Gadeka at the line. And hits. Gadeka now 24 points on 10 of 16 shooting, 3 of 4 from beyond the arc, and 14 rebounds to go along with 6 assists.
And unsurprisingly, she has not come off the court one time today.
She has been absolutely phenomenal here this afternoon as Williams able to draw the touch foul on James, much to her dismay, but might be a little too late for the Friars. 11 points in less than a minute, tough to make up. Especially because they just haven't really been able to find a way to slow down Villanova.
Yeah, and the turnovers really have been disruptive to any kind of a comeback by Providence.
I believe they only had 4 turnovers at the half, now up to 13 for the game. There's Williams now, chance to bring it back down to 9. And Gadeka, another rebound. Segrist now will be bumped by Cooper. That'll be the end of Cooper's day. That's her 5th personal. Looks like the Friars will bring back in Nyesha Franklin, the lone senior. Segrist will step up to the line. Segrist 12 points on 5 of 16 from the field today. 7 rebounds. 1 assist in 34 minutes for the talented freshman.
Yeah, we didn't see her best basketball, but how about she's been named the Tamika Catchings Freshman of the Week 2 times, as named by the U.S. Basketball Writers Association. Again, rewriting a lot of the Villanova record book for freshman performance, and you mentioned some of her Big East accolades, and might as well pencil her in for Freshman of the Year at this point.
Yeah, I think you almost have to. A 10-time recipient of the Freshman of the Week award, tied with Maya Moore for the most all-time. As the Friars get another 2 back. The time really against them is making her way down the floor is Wager. And finally, the Friars able to foul. Chanel Williams, a bit of a bright spot, though, for the Friars here late in the game, up to 14 points. Hasn't missed from the field. And Friars will get one last round of applause for Nyesha Franklin, the senior, here on Senior Day. Heaven Bristow, the freshman, in to replace her. And Franklin had a really nice first half, had the big block at the end of the second quarter.
Social science major from East Orange, New Jersey.
Wager knocks it down. In the final 35 seconds. Williams nearly traveled. Geary trying to set up for a 3, puts it up. Won't go. Bristow the rebound. And now they skip it on along for Williams. Again, not a perimeter threat. Tough jumper won't fall. Widmeyer the rebound. Partially blocked by Herlihy and Gadeka. And the Wildcats will be able to run out the rest of this one as they came back from a 14-point first half deficit and have rolled to an 11-point win here. And head coach Harry Paredes' final regular season game as they shake it up. Villanova will improve to 17-12 overall, 11-7 in the Big East for the Friars. They drop to 12-18 overall, 3-15 in the conference. We'll step aside for just a few moments and we'll be back to wrap things up from here in Providence, right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
You're watching Villanova Women's Basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
What is a Villanovan? In 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
And welcome back once again to Mulaney Gym here inside Alumni Hall. Final score, Villanova 74, Providence 63, and which was a huge game for both teams coming in terms of the Big East seeding for the tournament. But now it's time to send it on down to the third member of our team, Ashley Leotis, who's standing by with head coach Harry Peretta and our player of the game, Mary Gadeka.
Definitely the player of the game here, Mary Gadeka. But first of all, guys, congratulations on the final regular season game for you. And a big win here on the road. First of all, a lot changed during that halftime. Whatever it was, it ended up working out in your favor, Mary. You got 26 points on today, a double-double. And what kind of switch flipped for you guys at the half, Coach?
I just thought it was a mental switch. I told you going into the locker room that we weren't mentally in the game. Passing of the ball is slow when you don't think. Second half, they changed their whole mentality. And what happens is you make quicker passes, which lead to easier shots, which lead to hopefully making more shots.
And of course, this momentum going to shift into Big East tournament play. How do you guys balance that momentum with some rest as well this week?
Well, I mean, Mary is getting some rest. Bridget has to get some rest. But what we're going to do is try to have one probably hard practice during the week and then have, just go through some run-throughs. But again, with us, it's always our mentality. It's very seldom our physical. It's usually our mental. So hopefully these guys will talk about this game till tomorrow, then forget about it, and work on to the next one.
Of course, moving on to that tournament play. Guys, coming into this game, you were tied for fourth place. DePaul, the only team with a seed going into tournament play. What does that say about the competitiveness of this league, Mary?
Yeah, like you just said, I feel like that really speaks to the competitive nature. And, if someone wants to show up, one team wants to show up, they can beat anybody. And I feel like that makes the league so special in that, you can't take any one team for granted. So that also makes it exciting, and the competition just heightens so much.
And I had to ask Coach ahead of the game, I mentioned this earlier in the broadcast, does he ever misstep and call you Lisa? He says no, he doesn't. He hasn't made that mistake.
The age difference is too great, so I don't make the mistake.
Yeah, no, truthfully, I think he's done a really good job. I don't think he's ever mistaken and called me Lisa, but he'll always, whenever he refers to my mom, he'll be like, your mother, Lisa. So that's all I've heard, but he's been good about it.
Well, this is his final regular season game. You've been here a while with him. What are you going to take most from him and use it, whether it's later on in basketball or in the rest of life?
I think what I cherish most about Harry and just the program in general is the fact that they do such a great job of balancing both academics and athletics. And, if we need to take a specific class at a specific time, he's not going to say no. He really values academics and just really the holistic experience as a student athlete. And just obviously his Harryisms, I'll hear them in my sleep, for the rest of my life. But really just a really great man and just a really great coach altogether. It's really just an amazing holistic experience I've had here over the course of my years.
Scripted, by the way.
I was going to say, I have to ask you. I'm going to put you.
She never speaks that well, so that was scripted.
I'm going to put you on the spot here and give me your favorite Harryism.
God. Well, since I was a freshman, it's not really a Harryism, it's more of like a Harry to Maryism, and it's just like him scream, Mary, come get them. Like I hear.
To yell.
Yeah, it's easy. One syllable, it comes out, it flows nice.
Some names are easier to yell than others.
Yeah. Just like Harry, I'm sure.
Exactly, right? Exactly.
All right, guys, well, thank you. Congratulations, Coach. Congratulations on your 42 years as well. We will see you both in Chicago at Wintrust.
You might not see me.
All right, guys. Thank you, guys. Harry told me earlier before the broadcast, I asked him, why now? Why does he want to retire now? He said, honestly, I'm just tired. He said it's long days of standing up 2 hours a day of practice. He said his body is just ready. Guys.
And thank you, Ashley. That was Ashley Leotis with head coach Harry Peretta and our player of the game, Mary Gadeka. Mike Mancuso alongside Pam Roker to wrap this one up. Pam, just an impressive gut check performance for Villanova in the second half.
100%. The adjustments were made. Their style of play really came to fruition in terms of moving the basketball, thinking the game, converting the shots, and behind Mary Gadeka, the senior stepped up 26 points and helped lead Villanova. They outscored the Friars 50-26, Mike, in the second 20 minutes, second stanza. So really good road win for the Wildcats going into the tournament.
That'll pretty much do it for us here inside Mulaney Gym. On behalf of our entire hardworking Big East Digital Network team and my broadcast partners, Pam Roker and Ashley Leotis, I'm Mike Mancuso saying goodbye from Providence.